There are just a little over 3 weeks until Christmas. There's so much to do. Shopping, wrapping, partying, even enjoying concerts and performances. Some might ask, why are you wasting time in church? Or why did you drive this morning with all the rain and the standing water? You could be at the mall. You could be at home, staying warm, looking out at all the water, and considering maybe building an ark before the next onslaught. But something brought you here. Something you need to hear, to experience, to sing, to see. Something you need to feel. Hands on you and the sign of the cross on your forehead as you're blessed and prayed for. Something you need to taste, the body and blood of Christ that brings reassurance and sustenance for the day, or the hour, or the minute. Something or someone in your life that you need to pray for. You try to set aside your pervasive anxieties. Will a family member or friend become well again? Will the ones you love, children, grandchildren, husband or wife or partner, come to have faith or return to the faith of their childhood? Will you find work, a calling you can affirm where you can feel glad? Will our society, our world, even Christianity survive? As Jesus addresses his disciples right before the last Passover he will celebrate with them, and as Luke writes these words, as those who profess faith in Jesus are being persecuted, and the temple in Jerusalem has been destroyed, we hear words that might make us anxious and uncomfortable. Many people handle this discomfort by reading them not as mysterious yet hopeful words, but as pieces of a puzzle that will bring a sense of security once the larger puzzle is revealed. But that's the problem. There's no security to be found in understanding. To think that we finally have the key and what counts is to be on the right side. If we try to read scary passages like this, apocalyptic passages in which something mysterious is revealed, as if every word applies literally, directly to us in this time and place, it will simply be too scary to take the Bible challenge, to read the whole Bible next year as the bishop has encouraged us to do. The Bible, in the end, is not a how and what book, or a library of books. It's a who and a why book. The who is apparent in this text, the Son of Man, or one like a human being, as we heard in our text from Daniel last week. The other who is all of humanity. The why is less apparent, except we know that we are being told that the kingdom is near. Its nearness is emphasized no fewer than 3 times in this prediction. And what we can expect is that this time of difficulty, whenever it arises, for all humanity together, or for each of us individually, will be less difficult because our hope draws near. Last evening, as the rain continued to pour and the wind drove it hard against the house, I was sitting in my office at home looking out the window. Lyndon had left for Arts Alive in Eureka, and I happened to notice a flickering light on the front porch on the other side of the window that offers some protection. Perry was lighting a tall candle upon a candle holder. I became fascinated by the window protecting this tiny flame, which seriously sputtered and threatened to go out many times. Over the course of the next hour or 2, I left the computer periodically and went to the window. If I stretched, I could see that the flame was still burning, as evidenced by the reflection on the inside of the candle. The changing direction of the wind posed a challenge, but the candle continued to burn. I saw it as a metaphor for the Christian life, and especially for this passage from Luke. All our uncertainties, our anxieties, and the pain of being human assault us from all sides. But in our hope of Christ's fulfillment, we stand. We trust the invisible love and grace that have brought us to this day and will bring us through our lives and beyond. In the last paragraph, Jesus tells his disciples, "Be on guard so that your hearts are not weighed down with dissipation and drunkenness and the worries of this life, and that day does not catch you unexpectedly like a trap." Although it sounds like Jesus is telling us, as he told them, never relax, always be vigilant, I think there's a better way to think of his words here. Part 2 of a little book called The Lutheran Handbook, if you'll permit me, has a great short section that I will share with you called How to Receive God's Grace Daily. Lutherans are generally good at anything to do with grace. Here are steps 2 through 5. Number 2, avoid frantic searching, seeking, or striving. The word receive implies a key stance of passivity that's appropriate to the recipient of a gift. Grace is a revealed gift. It cannot be commanded, controlled, or earned. Number 3, stay positive. Certain attitudes of the recipient make grace easier to recognize. These include thankfulness, obedience, and not being invested in the outcome of situations. It can be in part described by this phrase from the Lord's Prayer, "Your will be done." Number 4, remain spiritually still. Practice stillness in all its forms. Grace coming from God is often received and perceived in quiet moments that allow the still, small voice of God to speak a peace that passes understanding. Number 5, as if you were a radio, utilize prayer as a way to tune your dial to the right signal. Meditative prayer is often best, as it encourages the values already mentioned, but the beloved serenity prayer is also a good tool. God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and wisdom to know the difference. How to receive God's grace daily, so we might withstand the wind and rain that threaten to extinguish our flame. In the dark and difficult days of World War II, the poet W.H. Auden wrote a moving, lengthy, and clear-eyed Christmas oratorio called For the Time Being. Here's an excerpt from the Advent section. Alone, alone, about a dreadful wood of conscious evil runs a lost mankind. Dreading to find its father, lest it find the goodness it has dreaded is not good. Alone, alone, about our dreadful wood. The pilgrim way has led to the abyss. Was it to meet such grinning evidence we left our richly odored ignorance? Was the triumphant answer to be this: the pilgrim way has led to the abyss? We who must die demand a miracle. How could the eternal do a temporal act, the infinite become a finite fact? Nothing can save us that is possible. We who must die demand a miracle. All our pain, our anxiety, our diffuse worries are echoes of the deepest existential fear. Does God love us? Will God save us? The once and future miracle is coming. Welcome to Advent.